Hi, my name is Abigail Weisenbach, and I did my field placement at the Jefferson County Public Defender's Office. Something unique about the Jefferson County Public Defender's Office is that they're one of the only defender's offices in the country that employs social workers, which is so important. A lot of the tasks that I completed at the JCPD included connecting clients with vital resources, sitting in on ASAMs, which is an assessment that measures substance use, scheduling Zooms and phone conferences, applying clients to treatment, applying clients to housing shelters, and above all, documentation. All of these things are specific to the social work department, and you can see that these are things that are very important, getting clients into treatment, getting clients the resources or transportation that they need. And so you can only imagine what public defender's offices are like that don't have social workers. Those things simply do not get done. So competency 3 is one of the competencies I selected. The client population at the JCPD, they've been stripped of their rights. All of my clients have been to jail or are in jail, and that's why they come to us. And so already they're dealing with a lot of setbacks and vulnerabilities, and then that on top of it all, it just makes our population extremely vulnerable. And so how do I advance their human rights and their social and economic environmental justice from a micro level? That's tricky. I can't give them their rights back. I can't change the systemic injustice and things that they're facing. But what I can do is I can listen to them and I can advocate for them. And so that's what I did. So an example of that is I had a client call me, a client with schizophrenia, and I listened and I believed him when he told me that he went to get his shots and he was denied his shots. And they're very important that he gets these shots every month. Lo and behold, I call his healthcare provider, wait on hold for an hour, find out that he was sent away and denied his shots. And then when I let them have it, then it was corrected. And then they got him in as soon as possible and got him his shots. And so it took another professional speaking to them to get them to act the way that they should have acted from the first place. And so very often those with mental illness, criminal records, sometimes the clients we have are homeless or have poor personal hygiene or can't necessarily articulate themselves very well. And so that makes it very difficult for them to get their needs met because there are a lot of people, professionals included, who will be very dismissive. And so it's very important that they have an advocate. So that's a huge way that I wanted to share with everyone that we can advance people's rights by advocating for them. So competency 5 I included because I just wanted to share some of the eye-opening policy things involving policy in our state as far as criminal justice go with my fellow classmates. So the 3 strikes law it permits a life without parole sentence for a single Class A felony if someone already has a prior minor drug or property conviction. And so as of 2020, there are 500 Alabamians sentenced to die in prison for non-homicide crimes under this law. That is horrible. And so that's an area of policy that needs lobbying for change because that should not stand. Another example is sentencing for marijuana possession causes people in Alabama to face felony convictions over a substance that is illegal in numerous other states. No one should be having a felony conviction, serving a sentence in prison over marijuana. Okay. Also, an example is drug court. And this is drug court. When I heard about drug court before I worked at the JCPD, it sounds, oh, wow, this is so great. Like instead of staying in jail or instead of going to prison, clients have the option to go through drug court and get treatment. And wow, that's so awesome that they have that option. But the success rate is extremely, extremely low, around maybe 4% or less. And so that needs to be reevaluated because I don't think an option is an option if you're almost guaranteed to fail, if it's set up in that way. Okay, so to conclude, everything I know about documentation comes from my time at the JCPD, and I'm so thankful for that skill going into my future professional career. I learned about motivational interviewing, which is just very client-centered interviewing. Cognitive behavioral therapy. I learned about how to collaborate with other professionals, which was very something I did very often when working with attorneys and judges. I now know how to apply clients to treatment, to get them into homeless shelters, to find affordable housing. And I'm extremely aware of all the treatment facilities, reentry programs, mental health services in Jefferson County, as well as just resources in general, such as transportation, food, programs that, well, I said reentry programs. So I'm just hyper aware of resources in Jefferson County. And while my work at the JCPD was at the micro level, I was very much exposed to problems at the macro level. And so I do feel a calling towards the criminal justice system. I think that it's an area that needs more attention from social work. And so I'm interested in conducting research on recidivism and reentry from a social work perspective and expanding the existing literature base. I'm actually writing a research proposal right now on is there an escalation in offense when recidivating? And is there an association between age and escalation of offense? So a lot of the literature on recidivism right now, which recidivism just means you've been in prison more than once or multiple convictions, most of the literature is on individual factors that increase your risk. So if you have mental health problems or substance use or antisocial personality, or come from an abusive background. So there are a lot of individual factors about a person or characteristics that may increase their risk associated to recidivating. But there's very little research, little to none, on what is the nature of the crimes that are resulting in repeat arrests. And so I think it would be very interesting to expand that literature and look at, are people committing worse crimes? Was someone convicted for drugs and then kidnapping and then murder? Or are they going back to prison for the same things over and over, or petty offenses? So anyways, I'm talking too much. I'd like to thank Miss Melton and Miss Walker. I would like to thank and acknowledge my supervisor, Tam Mayton, and the two other social workers, Katie Thiebaud and Ryan Koski, for all that they taught me. It was very valuable. So that is all. Thank you and goodbye.